Hey guys, so today's video is Beginner's Guide to Makeup Face Makeup Application. I'm wearing no face makeup right now because I'm going to do a talk through step-by-step process on how to apply makeup. I will have all the brushes and products listed down below, but that is not the essential part of this. I will tell you I'm using a dense kabuki brush to get the best application. I'll tell you stuff like that, but this is really all about the technique. It's not a tutorial on the products. So like I said, I will have everything listed down below, and this might be a long video, but I want to be as in-depth as possible about the application process. And the way that I do it is not the way you have to do it. Like for blush, I talked about applying it different ways, but of course I'm only going to apply it one way on myself. So this is just showing you a way that you can apply these products, not the only way. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this. I have already washed and moisturized my face. That is very important. Even if you have oily skin like I do, moisturizing and washing your face is essential. You don't want to put makeup on a dirty face, and it just helps to clean out your skin and will make your makeup look better. So I think that is a very important step. So now we are just going to start with the products. I am going to do primer, foundation, concealer, powder, blush, bronzer, highlight. I'm going to do it all in this video, and I will have a separate video on eyebrows and eye makeup. So first I'm going to start with primer. Since I'm oily, I'm going to take an oil control primer and apply this to my oily areas. I'm going to only take a small amount. You don't need too much primer. I'm going to put on my oily areas, which is around my eyebrows and the center of my forehead, as well as the sides of my nose and my jawline. So next I'm going to take a pore filling primer and apply this on the places that I have large pores, which for me is my nose and on the sides of my nose, on the innermost part of my cheeks. So I'm just going to tap it between my fingers, and I'm going to press it into my pores, and doing the same on the sides because I have large pores here. I'm just pressing it into my skin, and then once it's all pressed, I'm going to smooth it out, which will really just help fill in those pores even more. So now moving on to foundation, I'm going to take my full coverage foundation, and this is an open mouth bottle. There is no pump, so I just like to place my finger over the mouth of the bottle, shake it back and forth, and just dot it onto my face because I'd rather get a finger dirty than the whole back of my hand. So I'm just going to dot this all over my face. I can always add more if I'd like. So start out with less so you're not going to waste product or apply more than you need. So then I'm going to take a dense kabuki brush to really get the most full coverage, and I'm going to just press that into my skin, which again will give the most full coverage. I do not suggest swirling it around because that will give you less coverage, and if you have sensitive skin, it can make your skin irritated or inflamed, and if you have dry skin, it can really make it cling to dry patches. So I suggest really just pressing it. And if you do want to go back and buff over it, you definitely can, but I suggest pressing it into your skin first to give the most full coverage. And the size of this brush is really, really great for getting around the mouth and around the nose and in between the eyebrows. And you just want to make sure that you are bringing it down along your jaw and onto your ears to make sure you don't have any obvious lines. And again, we're just patting it into the skin, making sure to get all the areas of our face, get in between the brows, and just making sure that it's blended. Take it up to your hairline, just so that everything just blends really well. And like I said, just blend it down your jawline and onto your ear a little bit. Whatever is left, you don't want to apply foundation directly to either of those areas. Just brush any excess on there. So now foundation is finished. So now we're going to move on to under eyes. First, I'm going to be using a corrector. This is a nice light salmon tone corrector. I'm going to be taking that with a dense fluffy brush to apply this. I'm going to apply that right underneath of my lash line where I have the most darkness, as well as in my inner corner. So just taking it right under my lash line and in my inner corner where I have that darkness. And I'm going to do one eye at a time to show you the difference between corrector and no corrector. So next I'm going to apply concealer over top, because like I mentioned in the concealer video, the corrector is really to neutralize the tone so that your concealer will show up color accurate on top of it. So you don't want to use this on its own. So I'm just going to take a nice full coverage concealer, and I'm just going to pump a little bit onto my finger and apply this right underneath of my lash line up into the inner corner. I'm going to bring it down a little bit as well. So I'm using the same concealer for blemishes and under eyes, so I am going to take this and apply it to my blemishes as well, just patting. And this is really sanitary for blemishes because there isn't a doe foot applicator, so it's even greater to use. And if you've got clean hands, you don't have to worry about any germs. So now I'm taking a makeup sponge and I'm going to blend out the concealer on my blemishes. You can use your finger or brush, but I think that a damp beauty sponge gives the most airbrush look. It still has great coverage, but it keeps it from looking cakey, which means dry, and it won't cling to my blemishes. So I still have the concealer under my eye, but I'm going to be taking a brightener. Now you do not want to take the brightener right underneath of your lash line, because that will appear too bright and it might accentuate your darkness under your eyes. So you want to apply your concealer right under your eye and your corrector right under your eye, but you want to take the brightener a little bit further down, which is why I did not blend in my concealer yet. So I'm just going to click it up, and this is a great pink undertone, which is wonderful for brightening for a fair skinned person. So I'm just going to take this right underneath of where I apply that concealer, and I'm going to take it back along my cheekbone to really highlight this area and bring it up. So while I'm at it, I'm also going to highlight the center of my face. So I'm going to apply this in the middle of my forehead in an upside down triangle. I'm going to take it down the bridge of my nose, my Cupid's bow, the center of my chin. You can also apply this underneath of where you would contour to make it be even more dramatic. You don't really need to do that, but I am going to do it today to show you how. So I'm going to contour right here. So I want to take this brightener right underneath of where I will be contouring. So now I'm going to take that damp beauty sponge again to blend out everything. So we will start with the under eye and really make sure we get that inner corner and just pressing it into the skin, taking it up along the cheekbone. And now we will blend in the highlight on the center of the face. And here is the difference between no product and corrector, concealer, and brightener. So it makes a huge difference. As you can see, it just makes me look more polished, perfected, and awake. So now I'm going to do the other side and then I'll come back. So now we're going to move on to powder. I'm going to take this fair powder with a pink undertone to set the places that I highlighted with my pink brightener. So I'm just going to apply this with a small tapered brush. And we are going to do this to keep our products from creasing, to last all day, and it will make the highlighted areas more bright. If you have dry skin, you only want to apply a little bit of powder. You do want to make sure you apply some, so you'll keep your concealer from creasing, but you only want to apply a small amount so it won't look dry or cakey underneath of your eyes. And just setting all those places, just pressing it into my skin. I'm also going to set that area underneath where we're going to contour. So now for the rest of the face, I'm going to take a powder foundation and a flat top powder brush to give me more coverage. And I'm going to press this into my skin, not swirl it that way. It's really going to make sure to set that makeup and not mess it up. And I'm just taking a light amount and pressing it all over my skin, making sure that I have set all my makeup. If you are dry, you don't need to set your entire face, but as an oily skin person, I feel like I need to, and it makes all of my cheek products go on smoother. So it's really up to you, but I like to set my face. And in my video all about powders that I'll link up here, I talked about some setting powders for dry skin as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested in types of powders that will work for you. So I'm just pressing this all over my skin, making sure I got everywhere. So now I'm going to take a neutral tone matte bronzer and a stippling brush, and I'm just going to swirl it in, tap off the excess, and I'm going to do the E3. I'm going to start at my cheekbones because that's where I want the most product to be. Wherever you first touch your brush to your skin is where you will get the most product. So I'm going to take it up my hairline and down the jaw. Do the same on the other side. I'm just taking the side of the brush and really getting it under the hollow of my cheekbone. And then take a little bit extra and blend it down my neck to make sure that everything blends really effortlessly. So now I'm going to move on to contour. I'm taking a cool tone matte brown bronzer and a small rounded dense contour brush, and I'm going to only apply this on my cheekbones. You can definitely do the E3 with this, but I prefer to just do my cheekbones. That's personal preference. So I'm going to start at the top of my ear, and I'm going to go in no further than the colored part of my eye. And I'm just going to start at the top of my ear, like I said, and then blend it forward, and then just blend back and forth. And you just want to apply a light amount at first, and you can build up the color if you find it necessary. So there is contour and no contour. So now I'll move on to the other side. Again, start at the top of the cheekbone and blend it forward, and then just blend it back and forth. Small circular motions to really help blend out that product. So now moving on to blush, I'm going to take this matte peachy pink blush and this duo fiber tapered blush brush. This brush will just apply a perfect light amount of color to the cheeks. So I'm going to tap it in the product, tap off the excess, and I am going to apply this to my cheekbones. If you have a more prominent apple or a longer face, you might want to apply it on your apples, but I'm going to apply on my cheekbones. So I'm just tapping it right above where I contoured, and then I'm going to blend it out. So again, small circular motions going back towards my hairline, like so. Doing the same on the other side. And then blending back towards my hairline, like so. Now moving on to highlight, I'm going to take this champagne metallic highlight and this small tapered brush to apply this to the tops of my cheekbones. If you are somebody with dry skin, you can definitely apply this to the center of your face as well, but if you're an oily skin person, I don't recommend it. Or if you have a lot of acne or older skin, because shimmer can tend to draw attention to pores, blemishes, and lines, and it will also make you look a little bit more shiny. So I like to only apply this shimmer to the top of my cheekbones, so right above where I applied that blush, and I'm just pressing it into my skin and doing the same on the other side. Just pressing it into my skin, just going back and forth. And then to make sure everything is blended seamlessly, I like to take my stippling brush again and just gently blend over these edges to make sure that it is not too harsh and everything blends together well. and doing that on both sides. I'm just doing this very lightly. And that is it. That was my full face application. I know this was a little bit long, but I wanted to do a talk through. If you have any other tips and tricks, please let me know. I hope you all enjoy this. If you have any further questions, definitely ask me, and I will have all of the brushes and the products listed down below in the order that I applied them. Thank you so much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.